Hello, welcome back to the Happiest Sad Person Podcast. This is episode number 4. My name is Allie, and I'm going to do my first podcast alone without my trusty co-host Nate. It's kind of a weird feeling, and it's going to be something to get used to for sure. So bear with me as I sort of brave the silence, because I guess an individual podcast is all about me sort of narrating on my own and making a story out of my thoughts and making it coherent so that people can enjoy, so you can enjoy what you're listening to. And to be honest, I have a feeling it's going to be a little bit before I feel like it's good enough to be enjoyable, but I'm excited for the process. I wanted to do this podcast because I've fallen in love with podcasts recently, mostly podcasts from comedians. They've really sort of, made me find common connections in other human beings, and sort of the fucked upness of the comedy world. And I definitely relate to that because I've always felt like sort of a loner, an outsider. You know, I've done a good job hiding feeling that way and seeming that way, but I've always been just off enough that I think like the cool kids have always noticed it. You know, I am fortunate enough to look a certain way, you know, aesthetically, you know, blonde hair, blue eyes, tall, not flexing because I'm still not content with the way I look. We'll get into that eventually, but you know, aesthetically I fit like the cool kid vibe, but I was always just such a nerd that I think people could not figure out what my deal was. I mean, I was just off enough that I would still be allowed in the circle because I fit the mold, but I was kept at a distance, and I was sort of made fun of in the circle. And yeah, I don't know. So back to why I started this, I've always resonated with the people that were just a little off, a little broken. And so I wanted to sort of create a place where people could talk about that. And eventually I want to, you know, interview people and find out what makes them a little bit broken and how do they find that sweet spot between what I call mental illness and your own personality. And I've also been told recently that I have a natural storytelling cadence to the way that I speak. And I want to capitalize on that. I want to take advantage of a skill, because speaking is a skill, and create something and make something worthwhile and lasting and tangible. And even if it doesn't work out, I'll have a little video oral documentation of my life at this point, which has been such a pivotal moment. And I'm sort of, you know, hopefully coming around the corner of a long period of unrest and uncertainty and being profoundly lost, which has been hard. But I mean, until you round that corner, then you can look back finally and be like, oh, good, I'm glad I had that moment of being lost, or in my case, 10 years of being lost, because it sent me to find what really mattered and what I really, really care about. And yeah, I'm just really curious to see where this podcast takes me, because I hope I help other people. I hope I bring informative and useful and interesting content, and I hope I grow as a person myself. I hope it teaches me a lot of things, and also how to speak better and be more empathetic and a better listener. I think those are all things that you can learn from speaking. And then, you know, also I want to do interviews. I think those are really important things that I'll be able to do. And another thing that I've really wanted to touch on and focus on about why I started this is I have a profound fear of actually being myself. I will put on any hat. I will chameleon myself in any room to be interesting and funny and not myself. And so I want to use this as an opportunity to really sit profoundly within myself and with myself and be okay with it and show that to other people. Because for a long, long time, maybe my whole life, I haven't done that. I've given maybe 60% here or there. But other than that, I've really been afraid of that. Because I think people have, because I'm extreme, I think people have really pushed themselves away from me whenever I show my 100% true nature. And so I take that pushing away, especially as a child, as a fear forever, to be like, okay, I have to be interesting but palatable to enough people so that I don't push others away from me. And I want to stop doing that, because I want to get to a place where I truly do not care if people like me or not, or what they think of me. I just want to be able to sit in a room with myself and be proud of who I've become. Because I think that's the only way you can sort of get through this thing called life. And I may be wrong throughout my decision to become completely myself around others. I might get the same response as a child and really revolt against that feeling too soon. Or I just, myself at 100% is just not palatable for anyone. And I'm excited to sort of uncover all of these different types of things. And another thing I wanted to address was the title. The title of the podcast is the Happiest Sad Person Podcast. And for some reason, I don't even know how I happened upon this title, but I did. And I just felt like it resonated so much with me, because since I can, as far back as I can remember, I was just a depressed person. I've always been depressed. It's just my nature. I was 8 writing dark poetry about death and skeletons, and I still do to this day, but I was thinking about the purpose of life and why we're here and all these sorts of things from a very young age. And I just really would like to embrace, that part of myself. But also, the happiest person is that I have a weird eternal optimism, and I really would like to sort of focus on that dichotomy, because I truly do feel like I am the happiest sad person. People told me, why are you so strangely optimistic, even during this quarantine where everything seems like it's falling apart? And I've had people message me on Instagram and go, what is your deal? Why are you so cheerful? What is going on? And I have this strange optimism. And I can't even put a finger on it, because I actually didn't feel optimistic until so many people have told me, wow, you are so optimistic. And so I love the dichotomy of the happiest sad person, because I do feel now, internalizing some of what other people are saying and understanding that, I do feel like the happiest sad person. And I don't know, I feel like that's a great title for a podcast, because it goes into what are the dark spots in people's lives and how have they created, little slivers of magic from these really negative experiences and negative things about themselves. Because if you don't do that, you're just going to be sitting with all this negativity and all of these brutal experiences, and they're not going to serve you in any way. And I think that life needs to serve us, and these negative things need to serve us in order for us to move on and be successful human beings on this planet. Because life is hard enough, and if you can't harness those negative things and make them work for you, it's going to be a way longer road than you ever have realized. And yeah, on Corona topic, it's been, 5-6 weeks. I can't even keep track of the coronavirus. It's been weird, but it's been strangely comforting for me to sort of go within myself and really just take everything in that I need to do to improve myself and what I want to do whenever this ends. If this ends, who knows? This could be the end. We don't know. But I feel, again, happiest sad person. I feel optimistic that we'll be able to sort of escape this one way or another, and we might come out of it more connected to ourselves. And that's the way I want to leave this quarantine. Definitely more connected to myself, in better shape, and feeling like I have more purpose, and getting some writing done as well. I'm a writer, so I'm taking a script writing class, so that's definitely something that has been taking up my time, and I've been having trouble because writing a script, it's something foreign to me, and so I've really had to improve my writing skills in a new way, and it's been stressful because whenever you have to sort of stretch your muscles and really make them work for you, it's hard. And when something is hard, because I'm very fortunate that so many things sort of fall into my lap when it comes to writing, I get really frustrated and overwhelmed, and I want to be perfect, and I have to remember that I can't be perfect. It's okay not to have a perfect script, because I've never written a script before. I'm taking a script writing class. I'm obviously learning. And so I'm really just needing to... I'm on page 17 of 30 of a pilot episode script for a TV show. This is the class I'm taking. And I just need to embrace that I'm not going to be great at first. I'm going to be awful. If that's the case, then that's all right. And I just sort of need to sit with being bad and then improve, because that's how I've done everything. You sit with it, you work with it, you work through it, and then you're on to the other side and you're improving. You might not be perfect or great at something, but if you try enough, you're going to improve. You're going to get from 0 to 1. You might not get from 0 to 10, but you'll get from 0 to 1. And so that's definitely something that I've been doing during quarantine. And I've just been trying to write more in general. I write poetry. I sort of write random thoughts down. And I've definitely had a listlessness. I need to sort of get all these thoughts out of my brain and write everything down and have it be so poetic and elegant and wonderful. And I normally am like that, and I want to be like that, but right now I'm just sort of, in my notes on my phone, just sort of writing little clumps of like 2-liners of little things that come into my brain, and it's been nice. It's been really cathartic to get it out and sort of find a home for these feelings. And I'll look back through the writing and it'll be awful, or I'll find a little nugget that maybe I can pull out and write something else about it. But it's been a sort of a welcome challenge to my life, this quarantine. It's also felt weirdly familiar now that we're rounding month 2. I realized I can get used to anything. It's strange, but comforting. I mean, I guess it's sort of like a hedonic adaptation where you have to get used to something. Or else the newness feels so overwhelming and our brains can't focus on other things. So yeah, I'm just rolling through this quarantine, and I also am doing a virtual race. It's called the Conqueror Virtual Challenge, and I'm doing Hadrian's Wall, which is 90 miles virtually across the United Kingdom. I guess it's like a Middle Ages wall that was built. I really don't know enough about the history, but it connects to your hiking, running, walking. I'm still waiting for my spin bike to come in, but whenever that happens, it can connect to biking. And one of my goals for 2020 was to do 12 races this year, and I had some health issues early on in the year. I'll make a podcast about that, but I have not been able to hit my goal of a race a month. until now. And so I thought, let me do this virtual race. It's not as fun. It's not done in one fell swoop, but it's something that's I can do, and I feel like I'm accomplishing something, and I'm keeping active. I'm also hopefully gonna submit this month. I've been doing since January 2020. I've been doing 4 literary magazines a month. I've been submitting. I've been rejected from all thus far, which is a necessary evil in writing. But I am going to do another 4 this month. It's the 24th of April, so I'm probably going to do one today, tomorrow, next day, the next day. If I get rejected again, I get rejected again, but you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Was that Wayne Gretzky? Michael Scott? I think that was part of the Office. Don't quote me on that, but it's true. I mean, as cliche as it sounds, I have to keep trying with writing and not be afraid of rejection. I'm used to rejection, but it still hurts. No matter how used to rejection you get, it still hurts. And it's a strange thing to become accustomed to, because it's weird to get accustomed to rejection, but it's a necessary evil, and it's life. And especially a writer's life, it's just something you have to get used to. And I'm still on the side of rejection. So hearing that you'll break through and, have all this success from people that have had success, it just kind of feels kind of icky hearing that, because I'm not on the other side yet like they are. So it's really hard to get into that mindset whenever that feeling doesn't exist yet in your mind. The feeling of success doesn't exist yet. So it's hard to sort of get to that mindset that you can't even reach yet because you haven't had the success yet. It's kind of a rock and a hard place sort of mentality. But or catch 22. But I'm trying to welcome the success. I'm trying to feng shui Marie Kondo my way into success by clearing things out in my physical space to make room for more abundance, as that's has been propagated. So I am trying on all sides, formats, anything, Eastern mentality, Western mentality. I am trying to make sure that I am open to all forms of success in any way I can reach it. And if I can find any modicum of success in this quarantine, I will be absolutely thrilled. I think that would be such a real wonderful thing to happen in such a dark period. And I understand that a lot of people are going through really, really tough stuff, and for me to want to, hit a home run for writing during quarantine feels selfish, and I know it does. But I'm only in my body. I can only feel my feelings, and I can have empathy, so much empathy for people actually struggling and dying from this. And I absolutely do, because I could not imagine. But no matter what scenario you're in, you feel whatever you feel in that moment. And I'm feeling really frustrated with my lack of success that I've had now and before quarantine. And I think I have it even more so because I can't do any sort of work right now, really, that's financially lucrative, or look for a traditional job or anything like that. So I'm really just trying to find some professional success in my life to sort of fill that purpose void. And hopefully I'll find it. Who knows, though? But ultimately, right now, my goal is to embrace the uncertainty. And I know, life is naturally uncertain, but right now there's a heavier sense of uncertainty, of unknown. And I'm naturally sort of fearful and overwhelmed and questioning what the future is of the planet. And so it's kind of fun in a sick, sadistic, twisted way for some people to be on my side in that way. But obviously I know I don't want this feeling to exist forever for people, but I really just want to sit with this uncertainty and embrace imperfection and embrace just trying, doing the best I can, because really right now we truly are doing the best we can in a really just gross situation. And yeah, I think it's going to be really wild to look back 3 months from now even and just see where the world is. And also for this podcast in my own life, I would love to just see the growth and change and improvement that I make if I continue this. And I really want to continue, and nothing can get better unless you're actually putting in the effort and putting in the work and doing the time. And I've had enough of sort of trying something and then going, well, I'm bad, I quit. I've had enough, throwing a little temper tantrum, and I really don't want to do that anymore. And so I'm just trying to take this experience of making a podcast and make it a tangible idea by taking it slow and being honest with myself and being honest with that it's not great. It's not going to be great. It's going to take time. And I'm just having a newfound respect for myself and my abilities. And again, I can't wait to look back on this podcast specifically, on my first alone podcast, and laugh, laugh at how far I've come, and laugh at how uncomfortable I sound and how contrived I sound and how silly it is that, right now, for example, I'm sitting in my car at my parents' house in the dark, in the rain, after a run. And I mean, all I can say is I'm sort of unhappy in the moment. I feel just heavy and blah, and I've just gotten back into running, so I just feel just ill-equipped for running because it's been hard getting back into it, and I just feel kind of sluggish and unhappy and not myself and overwhelmed and stressed, but also okay. I'm doing okay in these times, but it's going to be a treat looking back on this, and uncomfortable and eerie because I hate hearing my own voice, and yeah, that's going to be the biggest bummer, is hearing my own voice, which is something I'm going to need to get used to. But until then, I am just going to live in each moment, take it in, breathe it in, and be it unhappy, sad, super wonderful, amazing, incredible, weird, awkward, whatever it may be, and feel it and take it in, almost like a deep breath, like a yoga breath, and then hold it, breathe out, and really find the beauty of this uncertainty. I implore you all to do the same during this time, and even if you're not listening to this during quarantine, if you're just happening upon this, who knows when I'm gonna have all of these posted. I wanted to have 4 before I posted, so I should be posting. This is me holding myself accountable. So if you hear this on a public platform, I followed through with what I was doing. But yeah, sitting in the uncertainty and really finding comfort in that, finding comfort in the discomfort. And so I want to thank you all for listening, for giving this absurd idea of a podcast a chance. Questions, comments, concerns, anything really, email me at 11jacobsa@gmail.com. Find us at the Happiest Sad Person Podcast on Instagram. And just remember, really love the moments of uncertainty, because what is life but the uncertain moments? If you know what's going to happen, what the hell is the point? All right. Thanks, guys.